Salvage Marines.
Yes.
What drew you to this series?
A producer presented it to me, and he said, "Look, I want to do this series with you. I think I can get it made." And I said, "Okay." And so then I read the script, and I read the books that Sean Michael Argo wrote, and I thought, obviously, this writer of the books and the writer of the movie of the show are obviously Starship Troopers fans. So I enjoyed that. I thought that they had some. It's different, but it's similar. So there's things that are different and things that are similar, and I was very attracted to it. I liked, in Starship Troopers, my character, Johnny Rico, was was in the mobile infantry, and he was very much like, that's what the mobile infantry is good for. We'll do whatever we can whatever you tell us to do.
Yeah.
And I sometimes would go to Paul Verhoeven and I would say, shouldn't I be like, he goes, no, this is great. So I had to play it straight-laced the whole time, which is great, and it worked out great for this. But this character here that I am now, I join up a little bit later. It's as if Johnny Rico was joining up later in life, and I join up for a more noble reason. I joined up to try to save my family and get them out of debt, whereas in the first one I just joined up because of a girl. So there's differences but similarities. And then my character in this one doesn't follow everything by the book. He eventually starts challenging some of the things, going, that's not right, and I think they're taking advantage of us. And so he starts experiencing things, and I like the development in that. And I love the relationship between everybody. And we were fortunate enough, we got all of our friends cast in it. So
I noticed that, yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of our friends cast in
great.
it, which was awesome, because usually when you're on the show or a film, it becomes like a family. But in this one, we already were a family.
Yeah.
So it just tightened our bond even more. And then we're lucky enough to get the Popcorn Flicks, which is going to be airing all episodes starting on the 28th for free. I don't know how they can afford it, but they're going to.
I don't either, but I'm glad.
Yeah, me too. So everybody gets to watch it on the 28th on Popcorn Flicks, which is awesome. And they're a company that really believes in it, and it's nice to have somebody come in behind your show after you've done it and make sure that it's, that they're like, this is good, we get it, and they've been promoting this. It's been awesome.
So in Starship Troopers, you had like a boot camp.
We did.
Now in this, you have like a boot camp. What was that like?
We also have a shower scene in this one, as well as in Starship Troopers.
I noticed that co-ed shower scene, yeah.
Yeah, that's why when I was reading these things, that's why I was like, this is similar. And I go, these guys are fans. And they told me they were fans.
Yeah.
And some of the lines were very similar to what I had to say in that, which was funny. And some of the other characters had to say almost exactly what I said, which was funny. And in a way, I think they were paying homage to it, and I think that's always a huge compliment.
What was the gear like? I mean, you had a lot of gear, heavy helmet, all this gear.
Yeah, it was impossible to breathe in.
That's
it was
what I was thinking.
110 degrees. We'd have to lift our helmet up like this to breathe in, and we're like going, because we had the whole face covered, and it would fog up, and they had to use defogger on it, and we'd have to just do it in between takes. It would fog up again. Sometimes the lights would go out. It was hot. We were baking in that.
Oh, I bet, yeah. Now, I noticed that most of your face was covered, so was it tough to act and get that, was it tough to emote and project?
But we had lots of scenes without the, my wife and her girlfriends. We had a lot of scenes without the helmet on.
Yeah.
But the helmets that were on for this one, we were, it was such a cool looking helmet and uniform. It was I don't know, it made it fun. I don't know how to explain it. And our director, Sean Piccinino, he's the one that created the helmets himself. So he went out and got a thing, and then he redesigned them and made them, all of them. Yeah. He was working on them before the film started. I was like, he was doing everything.
You guys look really hardcore in those.
We were hardcore. Yeah. We were really hardcore. We were having a lot of fun.
Yeah. Now, what about your relationship with Sura? How's that gonna play out?
So,
you've got this thing going with,
with Jada.
Yeah.
So Jada's my wife in real life.
I know, yeah.
and Lenara is one of her best friends, one of our best friends.
Oh, okay.
And she called up Lenara. She goes, "Hey, do you want to play Casper's wife? You want to come kiss my husband?" And I was like, "What?"
What?
So she's like, "Hell yeah!" And we love her. She loves us, and we're so close. So it's so cute that my wife is like that. But Lenara also said to me, she goes, it's so awesome, Casper, is I remember as a girl watching Captain Kirk in Aurora.
Yeah.
Aurora.
Yeah.
Yeah. She, they had that first interracial kiss.
I know, yeah.
And we got to do it again.
Yeah.
Which was kind of cool, because this show's like a throwback to the original Star Trek and Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers and even it's got that old feel for it to me, and it was like a little engine that could where a whole bunch of people that just really loved making it.
Yeah.
And we didn't have all the big budget that we could do, but we just had a lot of heart, and I love the character development in this. I love the interactions between the actors. For me, it makes it more believable, more fun, and more fun to watch than sometimes some of the films that they shoot are too much CGI for me.
Yeah,
and
a lot of CGI.
Yeah, and CGI is great, and especially when it's used right. And we have a lot in this too.
Yeah.
But I think if it's not story driven and and you don't care about the relationships, then it doesn't matter how much bells and whistles you put on it.
Right.
And the thing that I liked about our show was there's a lot of heart, and everybody put 100% in. And it was, and I felt it on the day when I watched it, because I've watched all 6 episodes. I know that a lot of the press has only seen the first 2 episodes.
I only see 2, yeah. That's all I saw.
Which is awesome, but you're gonna get to see the rest on the 28th.
You got hit pretty hard in that episode 2.
Yes, I did.
Yeah,
but you're
lying there like that. I was like, what the heck's going on with this guy?
There's some
they
big
can't
stuff
kill him off
happening.
yet.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but I don't die yet.
Yeah.
So you'll see. It's
your relationship with Sura, how is that going to project? Can you tell us a little bit about that, or is that?
It's such an interesting love triangle for me. It's the dilemma, that sometimes they'll go, oh well, let's have an affair or not have an affair. I love that there's challenges that come up, and then there's what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen, and it's interesting. But don't make that choice. So sometimes it's like you're watching this and you go, oh please don't make that choice, don't make that choice. And if the audience does that, that's great. And if there's something that goes, oh my God, I didn't see that happening, that's great. We have a lot of that in this, and I'm excited about that.
Are we going to see some real aliens, some really ugly aliens?
We're going to see a couple of ugly things in there. Yeah, there's a couple things that are pretty disgusting. So it's pretty gross.
That's great. So the storyline, it revolves around these guys that are like Marines. They're tough, and they're going into these various planets and fighting these. But there's this corporate thing. I feel some kind of corporate structure going on. What's up with that corporate thing?
So that's the thing. It's interesting. Everybody's born into a life of servitude, basically.
Yeah.
They have a life debt. You're born with a life debt, and then you if you don't pay it off, you'll pass it on to your children and your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, and keep going and getting bigger and bigger for each of them. Everybody's born with it anyhow. So the only way to really get out of debt is if you had a lot of money, which the only way to do that pretty much is to join the Salvage Marines. The problem with that, and if you do really well in there, then you'll be able to pay it off in a few years, depending on how hard it was, and they rank missions of the difficulty and stuff. But the problem is there's a higher than 80% mortality rate, and then there's also in the 98% of the people that survive. So in the less than 20% that survive, most of the 98% of them get wounded in some way, like an arm or a leg or a lung or a face or something happens. So then they have to have the grotto or the union, will put in a new arm, and then you have more debt again.
Yeah.
So it's like student loans we have now, taxes, all the things that we have to pay. We're getting into debt. A lot of the world gets into credit card debt. And this is just kind of, I think it was so much fun to play off of that because I think it's relatable. It's the struggle and what people will be willing to do and how far they'll be willing to go.
Now, you play with your wife. How does that change your relationship with her when you're working so close together? Are there some surprises like, whoa, I didn't know that about her?
Yeah, sometimes I'm really impressed with what she can do, and sometimes she's fun. I'm having a time in my life right now. This is my 3rd marriage, but we've been together for 7 years, married for over 4.
Good for you,
it's the best relationship I've ever had.
Excellent.
She's my best friend. She's right over there too. So she's really awesome.
The relationship, not the relationship, but your view of films and Hollywood, how has that changed over the years? What surprised you that you didn't know before about working in this business?
Wow, I have a deep affection for the film industry. I have a appreciation and affection and adoration for it. It's something that I've always enjoyed watching and looking at, and to be a part of it, it's always been like a surreal experience for me. So the things that have changed, we make it a lot faster now. We have less time for things. They don't do as much rehearsal as possible as they used to. We used to have a lot more rehearsal. We used to rehearse for hours. And I'm an old school, so I'm 53 years old. I've been doing this 35 years. I know that it's, I know it's changed a lot, but it's still the same excitement. I get so excited by the young actors coming in, and when they're really just gung-ho about it, it's reinvigorating. So, the surprises are
What surprised you? Like, I didn't know.
I didn't know I would have this much fun. I didn't know I'd still be having this much fun doing what I love.
I get that too. Yeah.
And I can't ever imagine retiring.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I worked with Ernest Borgnine, and he was 89, a month away from his 90th birthday, and it was his 190th film.
Yeah, he's
and
still working. Yeah.
He goes, I'll quit I'll retire when I'm dead. And he made it to after 200, and he made it to over 200.
It's like Clint Eastwood kind of.
Yeah,
when you think about it. He's still working, man.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
So, there is, which is interesting because we deal with ageism in this.
Yeah,
There's a great scene with it, which is fantastic, and I love that Peter and I were old guys. We join up, but he handles it so well. He's like, yeah, all right, let's talk about. He sits down at the table with all of them. He goes, let's just talk about this. Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
We're old.
Yeah.
But we've lived.
That's right.
And we're all gonna die, but at least we've lived.
Yeah,
whatever he did,
That's
he was so great. It was such a great scene, and I like it. So it deals with ageism because I think that there's something about old man strength.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ever bet against it. There's something just an old man. He's been through it, and that's why he's made it so far.
That's right. He knows the ropes. He's a survivor. Yeah.
Yeah. There's something to it. So there is a difference about old man strength versus young. I think that Johnny Rico, when I was younger, I was 27, I think he had some more physical strength than I might have now, but he doesn't have the experience, the wealth of information that I have, or the tenacity that I have as compared to what I had then.
And I think that comes across in your performance.
Yeah,
I think
thank
I
you.
see that. You're a senior guy, you got that gravitas,
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Now, what advice would you give a young actor just starting out?
Well,
young guys, what do I do? What do I do?
When the young guys ask me what do they do, I just say, well, this is what I did. I say, I don't know what works for you, but if you can, study, read the books on it, watch the films, go on, try to get on set, try to participate, because you can't, there's no experience. Acting classes are great. I went to them my whole life. I went to them for almost every role I went to.
Right.
I just worked with a coach and everything like that. But it gets to the point where there's nothing that can beat experience.
That's right.
So getting on a set is important. Getting on there, depending on what you want. If you want to do theater, then you got to get into a show.
Yeah.
Work behind the scenes, get in there and work your way up into it and get comfortable. Watch people, see the old people, see the old timers. They know what they're doing. Learn from the experienced actors, the good ones. Learn from them, watch them. I always do. I watch every single one. I'm always floored by them experiences. I'm also floored by the young actors. It's also very fun for me too. But I think that the best thing people can do is, if this is really what they want, then they have to really go after it. With all your heart and soul.
Don't get discouraged, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of negativity.
There's a lot of negativity.
Yeah.
There's the 4 stages of an actor's career. Who's Casper Van Dien?
Yeah.
Get me Casper Van Dien.
Yeah.
Get me a younger Casper Van Dien. Who's Casper Van Dien? Put any actor's name in there except for Tom Cruise, because Tom Cruise can do whatever he wants for whatever, you know. And he seems to break every mold in it.
Does.
But that's what they usually say the 4 stages of an actor's career are.
Interesting. I never heard that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So one last question, I'll let you go.
Yeah.
What were you like in high school? The guy most likely to...
I went to an all-guy military school.
Oh, you did?
I was on the football team. I was on the drill team.
Oh, my goodness.
I was in charge of waking everybody. I was operations officer, so I was in charge of waking everybody up in the morning and putting everybody to bed. I was in charge of getting people out of class to be on watch. I was in charge of marching people around and barking out every order. So I think I probably was the loudest.
Yeah. There was a lot of self-discipline in that, too.
Yeah, I was. I had the
that.
key to the armory and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, which I don't think they would do anymore. But we never thought about going out and doing some of the things that happen.
One thing I learned about actors is they're always on time. They're very disciplined.
Not all actors are on time. That's not true.
Really?
I am.
You
but that's from the military school.
Yeah.
That's definitely from my military school and the training that it's something I'm always early. They have a thing that's called, oh, well, that's actor time because he can be in within half an hour or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
A lot of times people are like, well, you said be there at 8 o'clock, so I'm here now and it's 8:45. And that's usually, like, I think it's 15 to 30 minutes is considered not disrespectful is what they say, but I can't do that. I always have to be early.
Good for you. Casper, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
Take care.